Hello, and welcome. On this video, I will be covering the most recent development in Gungeon speedrunning, and explaining how to make use of it. So, let's begin. With the help of a couple people, I came up with a set of save files that contains a set flow, that is, the generation layout for each floor. Normally the 5 main floors in the game have a few layout variants that you can get. But now instead, I have been forcing the game to give me just one. Then on top of it, when you consider there have been improvements in loot weight manipulation, this greatly increases the consistency of runs and allows for a much easier grind for faster times. Now that you are up to speed on where we currently stand, on this next segment I am going to be giving you a breakdown of what an any % run with this set of flows should look like. You boot up the game with the save file, and walk up to the first floor. In the first room, the chest path has 3 variations. The curved corridor, the extra fake combat room, and the blocked off red corridor. If you get the red corridor, you can just reset if you want. Regardless, after you get through the chest and reach the 3rd combat room, you walk out of the loop into the 4th room, and the boss should be, in most cases, on the shortest corridor. If you end up missing it, you should know to just go back for the other path. On the 2nd floor entrance, avoid going into the curved corridor path since on this spot, it leads to the wrong side of this early loop which contains 1 extra room. Upon getting out of it, you will be met with the shop, and after walking through it, you once again have 2 paths that form a loop. This one is mostly just a guess, wrong side has 1 path ahead of it, correct one has 2, and if you miss, you can go back to avoid clearing 1 extra room. Also, don't forget that there is a free chest for the taking just before the boss room. On the 3rd floor, it's a bit more complicated. After randomly choosing one of the starting 2 paths, you will be met with another 2 paths on both ends. Your next choice should be the shortest one, and by this point, we could have ended up in 4 different spots on the map. If you end up at point A, having 2 paths to choose from, you should go back to entrance and go the total opposite direction. If you end up at point B, the next room will be a chest room, and this should tell you to go back for the other path on the same side. If you end up at point C, you take the exit at the 4th room. If you end up at point D, just take the L and exit at the room after the shop. On the 4th floor, once you reach the 2nd room, you avoid the classic corridor. When you reach the 4th room, aside from avoiding the path that loops back into where you came from, you just choose one at random. The wrong one contains the shop, so this part is rather simple. After going down the correct path, you will once again be met with 2 options. Try picking the shortest corridor here, and if you end up going down the wrong one that contains the red corridor loop, you just go back. On the 5th floor, you will be met with 3 options. The longest corridor should always be wrong, and you instead just flip a coin between the other 2. At the 3rd room, if it's the wrong one, you find the shop and go back. If it's the correct one, the room contains 2 paths. You can pick the one with the shortest corridor, or that in general leads to the outer parts of the map, where there is enough space for the large boss room to spawn in. And that's about it.